I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody else. That's why I don't never get too hyped about the win after I win, because it's like you always gotta do something over and over again till you done. And it's always gonna be somebody next, somebody next, somebody next. So I feel as though I don't have to prove myself to these people.
You know what I'm saying? So we're striving to be the best that we can be to be on that level again, you know? So, you know, you saying you want to do what you want to do, that's good, because that's what you want.
That's the God in you that's trying to
that's good.
seek it,
and,
you know?
And you giving back and giving thanks.
Gervonta Davis is sharpening every weapon in his arsenal for his fight with Jake Paul, proving that his knockout power comes from relentless training, not just natural talent. His camp is focused on building strength, refining timing, and enhancing durability, ensuring he stays dangerous at every moment of the fight. On the other side, Jake Paul is treating this matchup as the toughest test of his career. He's brought in elite sparring partners like Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, and Montana Love to help improve his speed, reactions, and confidence before stepping into the ring with Tank.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bet. Everything on the line. You know, that's old school right there.
Gervonta Davis places a strong emphasis on conditioning that strengthens his core and prepares his body for the impact of powerful punches. Having felt the effects of brutal shots in the ring, he knows exactly how crucial toughness and stability are during a fight. His training includes intense drills that test balance, posture, and resilience, all while increasing the explosiveness behind his punches. Everything in camp is running at full intensity as he continues to build strength, stamina, and a focused mindset for the challenge against Jake Paul.
Ain't nobody breaking.
Box, exhale.
Ain't nobody breaking.
Box. Man, boom on that last break.
Let's go.
Box.
Fight for it.
I got him.
We take shit.
Box.
Let's go.
I don't want that hip drop. Yeah, I felt it.
Good, perfect. That was your best rep. Come on.
Jake Paul is also deep in training camp, treating this fight as the biggest challenge of his career. To prepare for Gervonta Davis, he's bringing in top-level talent to push him beyond his limits. Shakur Stevenson has joined him for sparring sessions, giving Paul valuable experience against one of the most technically skilled fighters in the sport. He's also working with Raymond Ford and Montana Love to enhance his speed, timing, and defensive reactions. Paul knows Tank is faster, smarter, and far more dangerous than anyone he's faced before, so every day in camp is focused on sharpening his boxing skills and building confidence for fight night. Gervonta Davis has built his name in boxing through pure hard work and dedication. His journey speaks for itself. Trainer Calvin Ford has watched him grow from a young fighter with dreams into a champion who thrives under the bright lights. Ford says the success seen on fight night doesn't happen by accident. It comes from long hours in the gym, from discipline, and from sacrifice. Davis has earned everything through relentless effort. From the start of his career until now, he's never stopped improving. As he prepares for the Jake Paul fight, many voices in the boxing world have stepped forward to share their opinions.
It's just so much stuff. And man, Kenny was sitting up there talking about, and the majority of it is when he was little. We talk about all the stuff when he was little, and he started laughing like, dang.
When I get by myself, I always try to like think about like back in the day stuff.
Yeah.
But we can tell.
I just noticed that just now, me talking about it. But when I get by myself, I be trying.
No, we can tell. When I listen to your interview, I like listening to your interviews that you do, and I can tell when you reflect back on certain things.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see it. That's when I think you at your peace, and you start reflecting back and you talking about.
When he say something that we told him a long time ago,
and I said, damn, we like, damn, he did remember that.
Yeah, he remember that shit.
Yeah. I see Brody been calling you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as on the what you call it, trying to fight.
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez sees this matchup as a major opportunity for Gervonta Davis. According to him, many fighters give boxing their entire lives, their bodies, their youth, yet still struggle financially. Sanchez says this fight is different because it will finally reward Davis for everything he's given to the sport. The financial benefits are enormous, and very few boxers get a chance like this while in their prime. Sanchez believes Davis deserves a moment where boxing pays him back. A fight with Jake Paul might not be for a ranking or a title, but it offers a reward that can secure his future. Sanchez believes Davis should take full advantage of that.
Fight, but as a coach, I think it's a good move for Tank Davis. I mean, I've seen too many kids go out of this sport with not a cent in their pocket, and I think that if Tank Davis takes advantage of a big payday like that, I think it's a ridiculous fight as far as a fight fan. But as a coach, I understand it. You have to take care of your own.
Yeah, well, actually, now that we're talking about it, you're not the biggest fan of it. Fight fans are bringing up like, hey, why did he go this way when there's Lamont Roach? Like, look how close that fight was. There was a draw. We were expecting a rematch in that fight.
Yeah, well,
what's happening here?
As much as we hate it, it hasn't become really a sport. It's become a financial sport. So he took it because it's 5-6 times more than he's going to make with Lamont Roach. That makes sense. I mean, ask anybody if they have a choice, they're going to take the money. Of course, he's got to take care of his people. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of his future. That's the smartest thing to do. As a fight fan, I don't like it, but as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody in that position, like, we got to put ourselves maybe sometimes in that same situation. And I think
Absolutely.
Anybody with any sense of common sense would look at that and be like, wait, I'm making this much to fight against this guy that's only been fighting for 5 years compared to what could be maybe a really hard fight. And I'm going to make double, triple. Yeah, I'm going to go. Let me do this little side quest real quick. And let me get this money real fast. And then,
of course, you have to take care of your future, man. If it's offered to you, you'd be foolish not to take it, especially against a guy that is no threat to him.
Oh, well, I don't know. This 50 pounds, Abel.
Yeah, but he's no threat to him. Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights. He's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many a times. Mm-hmm. He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's who he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in the streets he wasn't.
Chris Algieri also appreciates what Gervonta Davis brings to the sport. He points out that modern boxing isn't just about skill. It's about attention, star power, and the ability to fill arenas and create excitement. Every time Davis steps into the ring, the energy rises. Fans show up because they know anything can happen with Tank. He's one of the best finishers in boxing, with knockout power that keeps crowds on their feet. Algieri says Davis has become a symbol of boxing's new era. When he fights, it feels big, like pure entertainment mixed with greatness. He believes Davis understands how to stay relevant in a world where capturing attention matters just as much as winning rounds.
They realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing. Because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing. Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring. That still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him, you know. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
That's fair enough. That's a fair point. That is, and actually
And people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like people aren't talking about that enough.
Well, he's threatening to sue everybody who talks about it, and anyone who talks about it.
Well, that's because his fights have been sanctioned, and I personally don't think he has set up the other fights. I personally think, you know, like Mike Tyson, he had no legs left. You know what I mean? I to tell you the truth, I thought that was an easy one to bet and call. It was that Jake would beat Mike Tyson, and even some of these other fights, you know, they're smaller. Jake doesn't set up his fights. I think what he does is he stacks the deck against his opponents in those fights. So I wouldn't call them staged, but they're deck stackers. You know, so he has an advantage. In this situation, though, you know,
there's also an ongoing debate surrounding Jake Paul and whether the fights he takes are truly fair or staged. Carl Froch and Paulie Malignaggi both believe the fights aren't staged, but the circumstances often favor Jake. They say he usually enters the ring with advantages that make his matchups easier. They expect something similar this time. Jake is bigger, heavier, and will likely have rules in place that limit Tank's strengths. Froch and Malignaggi are realistic about the business side of boxing. They understand that promoters want a good story, a spectacle, and that means the environment might be designed to give Jake the best possible chance. Still, they admit that Davis has the skills to flip any plan. If the fight turns into a test of pure boxing ability, Tank is the superior fighter. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned.